How much money is enough money? For me, $1,000 a day. To some people, they hear that and they instantly think, "Oh, you greedy. Why do you need so much?" Right? And let's get into it, right? If I was inside of a church setting, I can't go in there and comfortably say, proclaim out loud, "I want to be a millionaire." If I got on a megaphone and said that in a church, let's say I went to church to go speak, afterwards I'm going to be confronted by many peasant type minded people who are going to stay at the bottom of the barrel of the crabs and don't wish to get out because they have been taught that, sustain what you have and, not be capitalistic and, and to be capitalistic is also to be evil, right? That's a presupposition that many people have. Not understanding that money is tied to service. The more people you serve, the more money you make. If you have a $10 product, you guys know that I rap. If I had a $10 mixtape, I sell 100,000 units. I'm serving the marketplace. These people are proud to make that exchange. And a good deal, here's how you constitute a good deal, is after I walk away from the deal and after you walk away from the deal, both parties are happy, right? So capitalism in its core essence, it's supposed to be a good thing. Are there some evil venture capitalists? Sure. Are there people that are corrupt? Sure. There's less than 3,000 billionaires. There's about somewhere between 60 million millionaires and 50 million millionaires. I don't know the amount. So these are the total amount of, I guess, quote unquote, rich people, right? Now we assume what their intention is as soon as we hear what they would like to do. And we don't ask questions, and that's why we never learn about people, because we make statements, and when you make statements you're not asking questions, and if you're not asking questions you can't gather more information. And because you can't gather any more information, guess what you're currently left with and stuck with? Your current statements, your current presuppositions, your current assumptions, right? Which means you'll never get to know a person, right? We make rapid fire judgments, which is fine. Like I'm used to it. The other day, somebody was like, "Yo, I think you care about power way more than you care about people." I'm like, "Dang, that's a bold assumption," you know. So let's go into what happened specifically yesterday, right? And I'm cool with people and their bold assumptions. It takes time for people to get to know you. They're going to have their presuppositions and they're going to vocalize them and be very loud about them and maybe end up being wrong a week later, you know what I'm saying? Or a day later. Uh, you know, so when I have presuppositions, I go into it thinking that I could be right, but thinking that there's always a chance that I could be wrong because maybe the way I'm framing it is incorrect, right? Because I never take someone who wants to become rich and then assume ill intent to their desire because I don't know the fucking person. So therefore, how can I know? Here's the thing, right? Let's backpedal a little bit. So, person who came in yesterday, right? Girl was like, so I'm like, yeah, how much money is enough money to me? For me, $1,000 a day. She's like, oh, you're greedy. I'm like, okay, how so? Oh, you don't need that much, ma'am. Who are you? Who are you to tell me what I need? So first of all, what's the presupposition in her sentence? You don't need that much. So she's assuming that what would be comfortable and sufficient for her should automatically be what's sufficient and comfortable for me. Okay, so you think that I should be you, right? Now she didn't blatantly say that, but that's the underlying meaning behind her words. You should be me, right? You should whatever satisfactory or whatever would be satisfying to me should also be satisfying to you. And the arrogance of human beings, right? Like who are we as people to say? And here's her goals. She was like, I don't know. I don't know if I really care about all that stuff. I just want to swim with turtles in Tanzania. Ma'am, that sounds like it costs money. you know? So it's like, okay, let's reel it back a bit. Is it wrong to want to maximize human potential, right? Most people would say no to that. Without even giving a in-depth further analysis of what I'm trying to say, they would just be like, no, I don't think that's wrong. To be all that you could be, if you were all that you could be, um, with what you call it, with the greater good in mind. I'm talking about your higher self, your higher potential in a way that positively impacts you for being that way and your environment. Because there's one of two things are going to happen. You're not going to be all that you could be, and it has this inverse effect both on you and your local community. You're about 80 to 90% useless both to yourself as well as your wife, as well as your kids, as well as your town, your city, your country, that's a possible outcome. Or you're becoming all that you could be, and it's a net positive both for yourself as well as your community. You know what I'm saying? This world is either going to be better because you exist or worse because you exist. Whichever one it ends up being, you actually have a say in the matter. I don't believe that there's anything in between. I don't think there's sitting on a fence, and I don't think there's you're going to be partially good or partially bad. and probably because of my theistic beliefs, heaven and hell and all that stuff, because there is no purgatory. It's like either you accept it into the beloved or you're not, pretty much. Anyways, moving on from that, right? So her presupposition to me is $1,000 a day. Before I know your intention, I'm just gonna assume ill intent to your desire. Why? Who knows? Because that's what people do. And if you're idealistic, you think, oh, humans shouldn't judge. They shouldn't do this. They should do that. And I'm gonna speak on idealism separately from this video, but it's destroying human beings. It's the cause of you being upset, right? Really briefly, yesterday I made a joke saying that women don't typically want Mr. KFC, right? I had a good friend that responded with, "Let's not job shame," and it's like, I'm not, but let's be real. What woman is excited and thrilled about the fact that her man is a KFC? Not with the potential to grow, right? Because this is where women are like, oh, okay, I don't care if you work at KFC as long as you elevate, which means you won't love him at KFC if he stays there for 45 years. No elevation. He's stuck there. That's his predetermined fate. His predestiny is KFC until he passes away. Do you love him then, right? Shit. Over 51% of American women would say hell no to that. And that's me being moderate in my estimation. I would say shit, 80%, 90%. But I don't want it to sound like like I'm making it seem like all the only thing that women value is money, right? So I'll keep it moderate and I'll just say at least 51%, which would be the majority, right? It's always about majority minority because shit, 51%, that's how you elect a president over the majority. Over 1 percentage point, classifies the majority. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if people think it needs to be 80, 90, 95%, but damn, it's really only 51%. Anyways, back to the ma'am, the lady who wants to swim with turtles in Tanzania, which is a ridiculous goal to me. How come I didn't say that to her? Because I don't have to go out of my way to tell you how ridiculous your goals sound to me. Why? Because I don't insist that you be me, and I don't have to be you. You could keep your fucking goals, as bullshit as they sound to me, and I don't have to verbalize that sounds ridiculous. And I could keep my goals to myself, right? But it was just an open dialogue, open conversation, and just the tone, the demeanor. As soon as she came in there, it's like, yeah, I've been invited to this. I don't even know why I'm here. Blah blah blah. Very like almost like off put by the invite, and it's like, well, let's get into it. So $1,000 a day for me, that's enough. Why that? Because it accounts for inflation, it accounts for it accounts for emergencies, it accounts for a lot of other things, right? But back to human potential. If I just wanted to maximize human potential, nobody would have a problem with that. As soon as you want to maximize your financial potential, now it's a fucking problem and you're evil and you're Satan in the flesh. Our people have been deluded into staying at the bottom, and that's why there's billions of peasants at the bottom, 10,000 powerful people at the top. They run the world and you don't. You have zero influence. Let me go into a story about a friend who wanted to medicate him against his will. If you could follow what I'm saying, I can't get into the specific words, but when the mandates came out, either you take this medication or get the fuck out and you're fired, right? You know what I'm talking about. It happened 2 years ago. And he has a family, a wife waiting on him, 3 kids waiting on him. He didn't want to take this. He didn't want to take this medication, but he wanted to keep his job. And this is the problem with our people, right? Especially black people. Let's talk about it. Like we're at the bottom of the barrel economically, right? And we assume everything's a scam. Everything's a scam. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying other people can't assume that. I'm not saying Indian people can't assume something is a scam, or white people, or Spanish people. But damn, like you know what I'm saying? Why is everything a scam? And then you clock right back into Burger King and Walmart, and you never come to the conclusion that you're being scammed for $15 an hour, right? And you never try to figure out how to bring more value to the marketplace. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you brought $1 million of value to a company, they have no problem giving you a 10% commission of that total amount, which would constitute $100,000 for you. What would be the problem with that? And why does he make more money? Because he brought more value to the marketplace. Because this world is based on meritocracy, right? If you don't know what that word means, it means you earn it because you deserve it, right? Based on the work that you put in. It would be an unfair system if Michael Jordan sold I don't know, at least 100 million pair of shoes. At least, shit, I don't know. It's conservative. I know it's over 300 million pairs. Probably. I got to do the research on it. But it would be an unfair system if he had to split all of his revenue between sneakers sold and his time in the league with all of the bench warmers and the people that don't have the capabilities of him. And now he has to allocate all of his resources to making sure that his people are good. Now that would suck if this is a forced system. Why would it suck? Because the only thing worse than inequality is forced equality. I'm going to force you to be equal, and it sounds good to the bench players that they get a cut of his sneaker sales. But guess who it doesn't sound fair to? The person with star power, right? Who did that by himself, who did that based on his own credentials and his own merit, and now he's being forced to allocate his resources. We think that's cool until we're the Michael Jordan, and there's a system in place that's forcing us to allocate our resources to people that have nothing to do with our success, right? It sounds cool. All the peasants love that system. It's the people that are excelling that don't like that system. And I don't know what the solution is, but the solution is not to make it harder to become a winner and to make it easier to become a fucking loser, right? The peasants love this system. The kings don't. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, back to yesterday. So she wants to swim in Tanzania with turtles. Fine, I have no problem with that, you know? But why do I have to be an evil, greedy bastard, right? It's because of the presupposition. And guess who she's attacking? She's not attacking me. She's attacking how she's coming into the argument and the way that she's framing it. And now she's trying to slay a dragon that doesn't even fucking exist, right? Because the way she's group compartmentalizing me is in the same frame as everyone else who's ever wanted to be rich, or what she thinks that means to want to become rich. And she was like, it depends on what your motive is. What do you want to do with it, right? What do you want to do with all that money, right? And just negative, negative Nancy. You know what I'm saying, bro? I have a village to feed. I have a mother to take care of. I have a mother who I want to buy a car and a house. Like, is that okay with you, ma'am? You know what I'm saying? Like, who could have got into my motivations without you having to frame it in a way where they're automatically negative. But I'm cool with you framing it that way, because it's just what humans do. And I expect people to go into something being hyper judgmental and critical, you know what I'm saying? With no modesty, with no, let me have my presuppositions, keep it to myself, and get to know a person. Like, let me give you an example. For me, when a public figure goes viral for the wrong reasons or whatever, or when they become someone that the world hates, whether it's Kevin Samuels, whether it's Andrew Tate, whether it's Fresh and Fit, whoever the fuck, right? I'm trying to listen for 5 hours at least and reserve my judgment to myself, and then maybe judge after 5 hours of listening time. Because what I don't want to do is take 30 seconds to 1 minute of material and think that I know you based on a very small sample size of your character, right? Personally. So I like to listen to at least 5 hours of the person talking. I want to hear them talk long format, right? Most humans won't do that. Why? Because 30 seconds is enough for me to think that I know you, right? And that's what humans do, you know? And the quicker that you learn how to accept that, the quicker that it just won't bother you. So, anyways, um, so I'm talking and I'm like, yo, money is tied to service, right? And I'm talking for like about 30 seconds. She interrupts. She's like, look, I had a six-figure business. There's nothing that you could sell me on. I get all of this, right? And as I'm talking, she leaves the conversation. Why? Because she thinks I'm being combative. Why does she think I'm being combative? Probably because I could articulate all of my views and everything that I believe. I could write 10-paragraph essay on it. And she can't. Listen, when you can't articulate yourself, you're going to think everyone's arguing, right? Because when it comes to you, you know, describing your belief system and explaining your reasoning as to why that is, you got about 2 to 3 sentences in you, maybe 10. Anything beyond, and then the person has paragraphs. Now it sounds like they're trying to coerce you to come to their side of the fence when really it's just an open dialogue, right? So now you leave the conversation upset because you can't even articulate your views, right? And why are you upset? Right? Because the person's being wordy, because they're talking too much. And because they're talking too much, you think that they're trying to convert you. And you don't even know the nuance between when someone's trying to convert you and when someone's trying to share idea, which is another panel discussion I had, which is what's the difference between sharing an idea and imposing an idea. Most people think that sharing is imposing because this world is full of imposers and not enough people that simply share an idea. And because of that, you think that you know where I'm coming from, and you automatically, your presupposition with me is that I'm an imposer, right? Not knowing that I'm just sharing, and I don't give a fuck if you convert over to my side of the fence. You can stay your ass on your side of the fence, and I'm completely fine with that, right? So, this is why I do these panel discussions, man, so that you could broaden your horizon when it comes to your perceptions, so you could retool some of your perceptions and understand that you don't fucking know everything, right? One sentence could have 8 different interpretations, and here's what human beings like to do. They run with the first interpretation of what they think you're saying, failing to realize that that one sentence could be interpreted 7 different ways outside of the one perception that they think is accurate, that they swear to God is accurate, and they don't even question, right? And like I said previously, people make statements instead of asking questions. And because of that, you're left with what you think you know. And then you become an echo chamber amongst yourself and other people, and you don't invite any new ideas. And you might be sitting on the wrong side of the fence. And then, In a metaphysical sense, you might end up on the wrong side of eternity because you think you know something, right? And you don't ask questions, right? Religion is something that we all should be concerned about because the afterlife is a toss up. It's a coin flip, 50-50. Maybe there isn't a everlasting lake of fire. Maybe there is. But what if it's real and you end up there? And you know what I'm saying? Because whatever's real, it doesn't need your cosign in order for it to continue being real without you believing in it, right? You know, what if you thought oxygen wasn't real because you can't? That's what people do with God. It's not real because I can't feel it, I can't see it, I can't. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? But if you had 10 minutes left to live, guess what you would be thinking about? There's no, and if you was conscious of the fact in 10 minutes you're gonna leave this world, you'd be cognizant of the fact that if there is a creator, you're about to go see him in person on minute number 11, right? It's fucking terrifying. And the fact that we go 80 years without thinking about that is beyond me, without being curious about that, without being curious about, you know what I'm saying? Whether or not there is an eternity and which side of it am I likely to end up on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, none of that matters. I just want to watch football on Sundays, make this money, make sure my kids are good. And I don't even want to think about that, which probably matters most, which is, damn, is there or is there not a God, right? And if it's a fucking coin toss, if it's a coin toss, what that means is 50% chance you're correct, 50% chance you're not. But if you but if you're not correct, there's 100% chance that it ends up being not so pleasant for you on the other side of eternity, right? So, anyways, people have committed themselves to believing what they want to believe, right? She's committed herself to swimming with turtles in Tanzania. Cool, you know what I'm saying? Um, but the reason that I have to be the enemy is because what she thinks about people that want a lot of money, and that's what we think about a lot of people that want a lot of money. We think that they have to be evil, you know. But most of you listening think that you're good people, and you think that if you had $1 million, you would do good things with those things. So I don't know why we think that it has to be a negative thing if we become rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does it have to be negative? I don't know. It's just a presupposition that we have. We don't do stuff like get on ChatGPT and give me 20 reasons why it would be a great thing that I'm rich, and give me 20 reasons why it would not be such a good idea if I become rich, right? And we don't do that because we've committed ourselves to repeating the same narrative over and over and over and over, and we're staying on our side of the fence. What's crazy is our side of the fence might be the weakest position, and we don't even know that because we defend it. And when you defend a weak position, you stay in a weak state of mind. You stay, you stay, what you call it, socially at the bottom, economically at the bottom, intellectually at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you don't question, right? Let me give you another example. I was in a different live, and I was like, yo, when it comes to black people, first thing we should do, become articulate beyond belief. That's number one, because there's a tendency to want to be violent. There's a correlation between high levels of aggression, whether verbally or physically, and low levels of communication. These things are correlated. When you're not articulate, you want to punch people in the face all day. When you're hyper verbal, like, you know what I'm saying, there's a good chance that you don't have to resort to those means. Why? Because you're more intelligent than a typical Neanderthal that can't even communicate his ideas properly. He just points with a club and fucking grunts. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the way you describe your ideas is low resolution versus high resolution ideas. And I'll go into that in a separate conversation. Can't really go into that here because I'm probably already 10 minutes into it. Actually, real quick, low resolution. Hey, can you pass me that over there? And wherever you pointed, there's a table with 10 to 15 different items. Now the person's going to pass you the wrong item, and you're going to be upset because you thought that it should have been clear to them what you wanted them to pass you. That's low resolution image. Pass me that over there. There's 15 items on the table. Who the fuck knows what you're talking about? High resolution image. Here we go. When you enter the room, at the top left of the room, there's a microwave. Next to that, there's a washing machine. Next to that, there's an orange bowling ball with some white pins, white bowling pins. Next to that, there's an orange book. You're gonna see an orange book, and you should see like a red rag. I need the red rag because I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm wiping down the vehicle, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The red rag, you can't miss it. Here's where it's at. High resolution image. There's no reason for the person to go into that room and get lost and not be able to fucking find the red rag because you not only did you list what it looks like, you didn't say, first of all, low resolution image. You didn't walk in a room with them like, can you pass me that over there? low fucking resolution, and now you're gonna be frustrated because you think they should have understood you when really you should have articulated better, right? Not only did you list what the item looks like, it's a red rag. You also listed in what you call it in relationship to what it's next to the washing machine, next to the microwave, next to the orange bowling ball, next to the white bowling pins. You know what I'm saying? Like this and when you, as soon as you enter the top left of the room, bro, like there's like no reason for you to be lost and come out not knowing where the hell the item is, when not only did I list off the item, but I also told you everything that it's next to in relationship to that item. Why are you lost? There's no way for you to be lost. Or at least if you end up being lost, I've decreased the chances of you being lost. Why? Because I gave you a high resolution image. It'll be much harder for you to not to see the point of what I'm talking about. So that's, simple communication, you know what I'm saying? Ethics. I never say, pass me that over there. Nah, can you pass me the champagne bottle? You know what I'm saying? Next to the macaroni and cheese, by the sink in the kitchen, bro. Like, do you see what I mean? So anyways, as I said that in a different live, dude started fighting me like no end, wanted to give me an example of stupid people that are not articulate, that have power. Oh no, what about Trump? Let me tell you about Trump, right? He might not be that articulate, but guess what he does has? You know, he has privilege, he has resources, he has money, he has people on his side. You know, if you don't have those things, you better become articulate. You know what I'm saying? Because when you don't have, when you don't, when you have, and there's stupid people that go viral, right? But this is where we go wrong as a society. We take a 0.0000001% chance example of someone who fits the criteria, who made it without being articulate, and we use a complete fool to validate our claims, substantiate our claims. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, like, I get it, but that doesn't change the fact that you would be better off being good with your words than not being good with your words. Because trust me when I tell you, pay attention to people that are not articulate. They're verbally combative. They always want to fight. They always got an attitude. They always want to take it to the streets. And I had a dude from the hood fighting me on that. People from the hood always want to fight articulation and how important it is. Fine, stay stupid. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna argue with you. You want to fucking stay stupid? That is fine with me. You know what I mean? But why fight against it? You know, um, because you don't see the use of it. I guess that'd be the only reason. You don't see the point of it. You know, way better to sound like you graduated from Harvard than to sound like a Pookie and Ray Ray, because Pookie and Ray Ray is unlikely to be elected into anything as a governor, as a president. You know what I'm saying? As anything. You know, words are powerful. Words are so powerful that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's how powerful words are. So if you want to be low vibrational and you want to articulate poorly and you want to convey your messages in a way that no one fucking understands, and now you're frustrated because you think you communicated clearly, but yet you didn't, by all means, I ain't trying to convince nobody. You know what I'm saying? Even though it may sound that way. It probably sounds that way because you think I'm not cool with you being on your side of the fence. And to that, I would disagree. Because to the stupid people that insist on being stupid, sir, stay stupid. By all means. You know what I mean? Because the way life works, I ain't going to convert 100% anyways. Out of 100 people, maybe 5 will listen. And the 95 that have committed themselves to, a path that's maybe not so worthy or not worth it to me. You know what I'm saying? And they might be like, oh, well, that's your opinion. Okay. If you're not getting the desired outcome that you want consistently, that might be indication that you're not on the proper path. Because otherwise you would get good outcomes with people, with your community, with your finances, right? And this is how you determine right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? I guess. You know what I'm saying? You think you're so right. You think you're such a good person, but nobody wants to be your friend. Maybe the fact that no one wants to be your friend is an indication of what an awful person you are, right? And you want friends, and now you're mad at the world, but you behave in a manner that you won't get a lot of friends, you know? So maybe your means for doing things are wrong because your desired outcome is getting people on your side, but your actual outcomes is no one fucking likes you. So at what point do you pivot? At what point do you take public perception, listen to 100 other motherfuckers, and then evaluate yourself based on what the people are saying to you, right? Because maybe you're deluded in your own self-evaluation, and many people are, and here's why. Because when you grade your own test, when you write your own exam, and then you grade your own test, you're very likely to give yourself 100. It's very unlikely that you'll give yourself the 37 that you deserve. And with that, I'm out. I love you guys.